I mean, let's talk about what
that are open to
McDonald's,
you.
what Ray Kroc did when he invested in this thing called McDonald's, right? And a lot of people say Ray Kroc was in the real estate business and not in the hamburger business. And you're thinking, what are they talking about, right? So he's got two things going, right? He's making hamburgers.
That's a great movie, by the way. If you've never seen the movie about Ray Kroc, that's a great movie.
He's making
what's it
hamburgers. The Ray Kroc story.
Yeah, I think it's called the Ray Kroc story. But there's a movie. There's a movie that they did that I can't remember the actor that played Ray Kroc, but he did a great job. They kind of, put all that stuff together and show you how it happened. But it is a good watch.
It's phenomenal. I mean, the business model is phenomenal. He's making hamburgers. We all know we've had them. I love McDonald's hamburgers, by the way. I don't eat them all the time.
I'll tell you the Happy Meal story after she finishes.
I love me a McDonald's hamburger with some French fries and a soda.
Okay, I'm telling the story.
Give me a Big Mac.
I'm telling the story.
I'm good.
You opened the gate. So we had gone through this thing where, as we were getting older, we said we need to eat better. Look, for some people love McDonald's. We're not trying to knock people that love McDonald's. If you like McDonald's, eat McDonald's. For us, we were saying, hey, we got to kind of watch what we eat. We can't be doing these processed foods and stuff like that. We don't. We try to eat healthy. And so we were kind of making a change. And this was years ago, and we were transitioning over. So we would help each other. Don't eat those chips. Don't do this. Not to annoy one another, but just help support one another. And lo and behold, I'm cleaning the family vehicle one day, and I open the glove box, and McDonald's kids' toys that come in the Happy Meals are crammed. I mean, all in the glove box of the car.
Jen, what did you
all of our kids are not Happy Meal age. So
I had some little kids
so the Hamburglar
in
here
the car
was going through the drive-thru and catching her a quick Happy Meal with fries and a burger.
At least it's a smaller burger
It was
and a
small,
smaller
right?
amount of
It was just a little
fries.
itty bitty
So
hamburger.
I walk in the house with all this evidence, and I said, "Who's been eating at McDonald's?" And all I got was a blank stare.
So good.
That's the McDonald's
So good.
story.
I love it.
So she doesn't do that anymore, but she was hooked on those
back
McDonald's
to my
fries.
story.
Okay.
So Ray Kroc is making these delicious hamburgers, making money there and being taxed as a big business. But then he purchased real estate to build his stores on. And so he's getting the write-off for the real estate, all the depreciation and the write-off that comes from that. And it pretty much, maybe not wipes out, but drastically reduces the income that he's making as the corporation. It's just brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant. But only with real estate can you do this. Now, how many places can you go and get a loan to buy stocks? Nowhere. But you can go to the bank and say, I need X amount of dollars to buy a piece of real estate. You're going to get the money. So you leverage that to buy more real estate with.
Well, I think some of what's happened with what keeps probably a lot of people, and you asked this question very early on about why wouldn't they do it or why don't people do it? And some of it's subconscious. You grow up and you hear things like, we're baby boomers. One of the big things we heard when we were young, and I remember this distinctly, and I know you probably do too, Jen, was like, get a good government job. That was something like our parents or people that were older than us suggested was a really smart thing to do. Get a good government job because you can get a good pension and health care. Okay. And I'm not saying based on what they knew that was necessarily horrible advice based on what they knew. But see, we talked about a generational component of this. If you come from family that happens to be lower middle class, even lower poor poverty level, and you happen to have not had any education and anyone in your family at all that knew any of the stuff that we're talking about, so they didn't even know to point you in that direction. You don't learn this in school, okay? You don't learn this in college. Well, we both have business degrees. Matter of fact, you have an MBA. I have a business degree. And I'm telling you, I didn't learn this in college, getting a business degree, much of what we talk about. Learn nothing about it, okay? So part of the challenge that I think that we suffer is it's this lack of knowledge. We perish for lack of knowledge. And then we don't go to seek on our own. There's got to be more. Yeah. Now, Jen is a phenomenal investigator. I told her she could have
She's a
been.
seeker.
I told her she could have been like a private investigator. She could have been an attorney. She could have been an accountant. There's a lot of stuff she could have been based on how she likes to dig into things, and she can dig incredibly deep into topics and subjects and things, and it adds to other things. So many of the things that we found, it's been through like just seeking it. Like we need to find out something more about that, or some of the stuff that we share back and forth. Some of the stuff that I found, it's been the same way. I'm very passionate about generational wealth and legacy.
Yeah.
And so I dig around, what did the wealthy people do? What did the Rockefellers do? What did the Rothschilds do? We read a lot of books. We read a lot of stories. We read about business. We read about different things. Even if we don't do the business, like you talked about McDonald's, we still read Ray Kroc's story. He was, we didn't really initially read it thinking about it from a real estate perspective, but he was, it's still one of the greatest restaurants stories that has existed to this point. So I think it's that searching, seeking. We mentioned this. We also learned something, understanding that we span many different generations of things that we've worked through. When we were younger, same thing, coming from, say, what we heard from our parents and things like that. We didn't hear, get a mentor, get a coach, only coaches you heard about was sports. Football, basketball, baseball, whatever, field hockey, whatever you play in, you have a coach, and we know of that as a coach, but you don't know of a coach to help you with what you're passionate about and what you want to do. Like if you want to be an artist or a chef, or you want to be a real estate investor, you go find the person that has been doing it and that can help accelerate your journey. And in most cases, which is what people do not want to do, they don't want to pay. In a lot of cases, they don't want to pay.
Yeah,
we'll go to college and pay.
Right.
And we'll pay and get educated because we pay dearly for college education, but we're still saying that's not really what helped us the most with our seeking to be financially independent, wealthy, to grow a portfolio, to invest, to do business. It wasn't really college.